So, today I want to talk to you a little bit about tips for dealing with anxiety and depression. I want to start off by making it very clear that I am not a mental health professional. So, what I'm doing here is just kind of telling you about some things that work for me. I'm not qualified to give professional advice, so if you have any serious concerns, you should talk to a mental health professional or your primary care physician. And I just want to remind you that while ASMR is awesome, it's not a replacement for professional treatment. And there is no shame in seeking that out, by the way. I definitely have had to do that a number of times in my life, and it can really help, especially if you find the right person. So if you don't right away, keep looking. You deserve it. You deserve good help. But what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to talk a little bit about what my experience of anxiety and depression is like. I'm going to give a couple tips for things I do to help distract me or to help me deal. And then I'm going to give a third tip, which is actually a type of meditation, and it's something that I use all the time and I find super helpful. So I was hoping it might be helpful for some of you as well. I do have some notes here, so if you hear little paper rustling sounds, that's what's going on there. So, I do also want to let you know that what I'm going to do, I believe, is I'm going to, once this video is finished, I'm going to section off the meditation at the end and release that as an additional second shorter video. So if you ever need a quick fix and you want to use that, you'll be able to do that. Alright. For those of you who have seen my Draw My Life video, I mentioned that I've struggled with anxiety and depression since about the age of 12. I've had some high points and some low points with it. It's something I live with. I've really come to peace with the fact that it's not something I'm ever going to get rid of. It's just something that I learn to accept, and I learn how to cope with it, and I learn techniques for preserving my quality of life when it's especially present. And my approach for dealing with it has to do with the fact that for me, when I get these attacks of anxiety or when I get these attacks of feeling really down or depressed, and there are obviously different levels of that, I know that when I'm in those moments, what I'm experiencing is a form of self-absorption. Because there can be a lot of things going on, like self-loathing or self-criticism. If I'm anxious, a lot of times I'm anxious about how other people are perceiving me, or I'm anxious about potentially doing something wrong, or I'm anxious about what might happen to me, or if I'm sad or depressed, maybe I'm upset with myself for not handling something well. Maybe I'm upset with myself for not being productive enough, or just generally not conducting myself, or I'm not seeing myself the way that I want to see myself. And all of these are ways that I'm just really, really zeroing in on myself. Like I'm taking a look at myself and I'm just zooming in on all my little flaws to the point where that's all I can see. So that's why I say that depression, even though it's a negative perception of myself, and anxiety, even though it's usually a negative perception of myself, it's still a form of being totally self-absorbed. So what I do is I try practices that sort of expand my perspective, that help me to zoom back out and take a wider angle, so I'm not so focused on all these little tiny flaws that try and back out, take a wider view of myself, and even better yet, if I can include other people into my perception somehow, that helps me zoom way back out, and I'm not so focused and so hypercritical on myself. So a lot of times my techniques that I use have to do with focusing on other people. And to be clear, this is something to be used with caution, because if you're having a lot of issues, you don't necessarily want to try and bury your issues by not caring for yourself and only caring for others. But when used in moderation and when used wisely, focusing on others can, like I said, kind of help me zoom out a little bit and get a wider perspective and see that these things that I'm focusing in on, these little things, aren't quite as big as I thought. So the first thing that I like to do is I will contact someone that I haven't spoken with in a little while, and I will send them some words of encouragement or a compliment, something like that. I use Facebook Messenger a lot, and I use text messaging a lot, and I really like those for this purpose. So I might pick someone who I haven't spoken with in a while, and I'll send them a message, and I might say something like, I heard that you just got a new job, and I just wanted to wish you the best. You've always been such a hard worker, and they're lucky to have you. Or I might say something like, I saw a photo of your new dog, and I wanted to congratulate you. That dog is super cute. So those are obviously very specific examples. You can either do something that's just as general as saying, I just wanted to let you know that I'm thinking of you. I hope all is well. So what I try to do when I'm sending these messages is I just make sure that whatever message I'm sending is sincere. You don't want to trump something up or say something you don't really feel or think, because it kind of defeats the purpose, and a lot of times people can sense insincerity. So pick something sincere to say if you're going to try this. And I think it's really important to do things like this without expectation of a response. Of course, it feels great, if you get in touch with someone and they get back to you and say something nice like, oh, that's great, or thank you, or you made my day. But I think it's important not to expect that, because that's not the point of this exercise. To me, this exercise is kind of a hit and run act of kindness. That's why I like different types of messaging for this purpose. You can just send someone the message and then run, as opposed to, you can obviously make a phone call too, but yeah, with this message, you have a chance to just send someone something kind, positive, sincere, encouraging, and then you just take off afterwards, and there's a really good chance that you've just made someone's day a little bit better, and potentially by doing that, by doing an act of kindness for someone else, or by having someone else in your thoughts in a positive way, you've done that thing where you zoom out and have a bigger perspective. So the second thing that I like to do, that's kind of along the same lines but a little bit different, is I like to send people thank you cards or thank you postcards in the mail. Regular, physical mail has become such a special thing these days, and this exercise is a great way to take advantage of that, by someone sending a note, a card, a postcard. It's relatively cheap, probably just going to cost you a stamp if you have envelopes and paper or note cards or whatever lying around your house, and you can write a short message, You can write a long message. You can be as general or as specific as you like. You could send a message, a thank you card, to a family member or a friend and thank them for always being there for you, or for a specific time that they supported you. You can send a card to someone from your past. For example, I recently sent a postcard to one of my mother's childhood friends, who she's been friends with for a long time, and I just sent her a postcard thanking her for being a positive influence in my life when I was younger. You can send a card to someone in a more administrative capacity in your life, like someone who maybe you work with or work for, or someone you deal with in a professional capacity. For example, I try to send thank you cards to all of my teachers at the end of each semester. Or a couple of months ago, I sent a thank you card to the staff at the testing center where I take all my exams. I sent them a note that just said something along the lines of, I'm in here all the time. It's always a really stressful time for me, and you all are always smiling and professional, and in a little way, you made my semester better. And situations like that are great because people in those situations don't get a lot of thank you notes, and they should. So, yeah, a good note though. If you're going to send thank you notes to your teachers, I really highly recommend waiting until grades have been posted before you send the thank you card. I don't know if you worry about this kind of thing, but my concern has always been that if I send them like a nice complimentary card before grades have been posted, I wouldn't want them to have any concern that there was like an ulterior motive there. I just wanted them to know that I'm just thanking them. So, my third and my most frequently used technique is a meditation, and it's called the Metta meditation, or it's also known as the loving kindness meditation. This is a really quick and easy meditation. It can be used by people of any faith or by people of no faith. It can be said aloud, or it can be said just silently in your head if you're going through a stressful time, or if you're on the go or in public. It's basically just an organized expression of goodwill, and I like using it on the fly. I use it, if I'm in traffic and I'm getting really frustrated with the other drivers around me, or I might use it if work is getting me really anxious, or I might use it real quick if I see someone say something online that upsets me. This meditation is also what I use whenever I see someone ask for prayers or positive thoughts. So yeah, especially like on, people do that a lot on Facebook. If they're concerned for themselves or for someone else, they might say, send positive thoughts here, or they might ask for prayers. And that's, I don't personally pray necessarily in like the religious sense of the word, but I do believe in positive thoughts. So this meditation is what I use in that situation. So there are a lot of different translations of the Metta meditation. My favorite is one that I heard in a YouTube video. I listened to it for the first time a couple of years ago. So it's from a YouTube video featuring Julian Walker. And Julian is an author and yoga teacher based in California. and I contacted him, and he was kind enough to give me permission to use his version of the meditation in this video. So thank you, Julie. And what I'll do is I'll put a link down in the description box to, I'll probably do a link to his YouTube channel and his website, so you can check those out if you want. So basically, this is a real short one. It's just a few lines. I'm going to say them in a moment. I'll teach you the words for it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to cycle through, and we're going to send this out towards, first for yourself, and then for someone you really love, for someone you feel neutral towards, and then for someone who you don't feel so positively towards. And just to explain ahead of time, because that last one can be difficult, I'm going to be asking you to send out this meditation of goodwill towards someone that you don't have very positive feelings towards. I know that at times it can be really difficult for me to do if I pick someone who I might be really upset with for some reason or another. But the thought behind it is, if these people who you don't feel so good about maybe were in a better situation, or maybe if they were more compassionate, or maybe if their circumstances were better, they might not be making your life so difficult. So that's one way to approach it. But if you can, I encourage you to really stick to that part of the meditation and to really give it your heart, because a lot of times, that kind of power of positive thinking for someone who it's challenging to feel positive towards, that can be the most transformative, and that can be the most helpful. And a lot of times that's really helped me to make that leap from feeling really anxious or really sad to being in a more peaceful place. Alright, so the words are this. I'm going to say them real quick, and then I'll guide you through the whole thing, okay? Alright. So the Metta, or loving kindness meditation, goes like this. May I be well. May I be healthy and strong. May I be happy and safe. May I be free from suffering and free from that which causes me to suffer. May I be filled with compassion. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to guide you through the whole thing a number of times. First for yourself, and then directed toward a number of different people. Alright. You ready? So, you can go ahead and close your eyes if you'd like. Maybe take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Perfect. And I'm going to be going ear to ear on this one, so if you're wearing headphones, you should be able to hear that. Okay. So, starting with you, I'd like you to say aloud or silently to yourself these words. May I be well. May I be healthy and strong. May I be happy and safe. May I be free from suffering and free from that which causes me to suffer. May I be filled with compassion. Perfect. Alright. Now I want you to hold the image of someone in your head. I want you to think of someone who you love very much. It can be a family member, it can be a very close friend, a partner, or just someone who means a lot to you. Someone who it takes very little effort to think positive thoughts for. Okay, so I want you to picture them in your head. Just open your heart up and repeat after me, silently or aloud, for this person. May they be well. May they be healthy and strong. May they be happy and safe. May they be free from suffering and free from that which causes them to suffer. May they be bathed in compassion. Perfect. Now, I want you to hold the image of someone else in your head. I want you to think of someone who you feel neutrally towards, probably someone who you don't know very well, maybe someone that you've only had one or two interactions with, maybe someone who works at a local business or at your place of work you've never really spoken with. You know who this person is, but you don't know them well enough to have really formed an opinion of them. You probably don't think of them much at all. You got it? Alright. So hold them in your head, open up your heart, and we're going to say this meditation for them. May they be well. May they be healthy and strong. May they be happy and safe. May they be free from suffering and free from that which causes them to suffer. May they be bathed in compassion. Perfect. You're doing a great job. All right. For this last part, I'm going to ask you to hold the image of someone else in your head. Someone who you have some negative feeling towards. Maybe someone who you feel has treated you unkindly or unfairly. And we're going to send some positive thoughts and energy toward that person, partly because, if their circumstances were better, they might not be making things so hard for you, and partly because everyone does deserve to be healthy and safe and happy and strong. Alright? So, take a deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Hold the image of that person in your head. Open up your heart. And we're going to say this meditation for them. May they be well. May they be healthy and strong. May they be happy and safe. May they be free from suffering and free from that which causes them to suffer. May they be bathed in compassion. Alright, great. So you've done some really good work there. This meditation can be a little bit challenging, especially the first few times, especially depending on who you've chosen to think of for all of these. I'm really proud of you for giving it a try and sticking through, and I recommend memorizing it and just whipping it out in times of need if you're stressed or angry or down or not feeling so great for any reason. I recommend just taking one part of that, either for yourself or for someone else. If someone cuts you off in traffic, you can go ahead and say, may they be well, may they be healthy and strong. You can go through the whole thing with them. And if nothing else, it can help to just bring your blood pressure down just a little bit. If someone's frustrating you, or if you're too focused on yourself and you're feeling really bad about yourself, you can think these positive thoughts for yourself, because you're important too, and you deserve it, and you do deserve to be healthy and strong and happy and safe. So you can direct it towards yourself too. I hope you find this helpful, and I hope wherever you are, I hope you're able to relax, and I hope you're taking good care of yourself, because you deserve it.